And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Rupert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection, I'm your host, Rupert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. The history of child development centers are a relatively modern phenomenon, with their establishment and development gaining significant momentum in the mid-20th century as societies increasingly recognize the importance of specialized, holistic support for children. On today's Open Connection, we open our archives to bring you this story from 1999.
The Smithers Child Development Center was supposed to be in this building next to the Anglican Church for just a short period of time. But 13 years later, they were still there and even more cramped than ever.
We used to have an office that was also a storage room and our therapy room, and so it was just really hard to see children there, as well as be able to access computer time and interview space for families and things like that.
We were so cramped we had to move equipment daily in and out of different rooms. We had 6 people sharing one very small office. We even to the point of having equipment out at people's homes in their basements.
The old 2,000 square foot building got on everybody's nerves, so the change is very refreshing, especially for staff.
Well, it's incredible for staff morale. It allows staff to be more creative in recognizing the research around integration and inclusion of children and ways to do that, and in looking at new programs that we could offer for the community, meet community needs.
Not only is the CDC meeting community needs, the larger space has allowed them to increase the number of programs for kids to 8 from 5.
Any family who has concerns about their child's development in any way can just give us a call, and we'd be able to tell you if we have a service or a program appropriate to your needs, or be able to direct you to other community services that would be appropriate, as well as we provide a community-based preschool and after-school program that is open for all children in the communities and is set up to facilitate the inclusion of children with special needs up to a 25% ratio.
The increased space really helps everybody. It gives the parents peace of mind, more room for the kids to play, and for staff to make more accurate assessments.
The goal is that the children come here to socialize with other children, and they learn play skills that might be a little harder to develop just in the closed confines of a home. They can do larger motor skills. And also at our Monday play group, we often have the physiotherapist, occupational therapist, and speech therapist visiting. We look at the daily occupation of children, which things that occupy kids could be play, school, self-care, things like feeding and grooming and those things. So their main occupation, though, is play. And so we use play and assess play to see where they're at developmentally, etc.
At the Child Development Center, it's important for parents to get involved with things like goal setting and even drawing up the program, trying to meet the kids' needs and make them feel as independent as possible.
So if they're in a preschool, then maybe the suggestions would be things that other preschoolers are also working at, but they might need to be focusing on that particular skill a little bit stronger than others or something like that. Oh, I think it's very important to their overall development. It also prepares them, if they do go to preschool programs later on, they have more of a sense of being in a group and being with others. And I think for the parents, it's kind of a lead up to other programs that may follow later.
What we've done is moved halfway between Telkwa and Smithers, so we really do serve communities actually from Topley to Kitsukla. So I just see us moving more into the areas that we provide services for.
Along with the aforementioned programs and the preschool program that you're seeing here, the CDC also offers physiotherapy, a family support worker, school-based therapy, and the Gulliver's after-school program, which on this day was out bird watching. Unfortunately, the group didn't see any feathered friends, just a big dog off in the distance.
If I'd sat down and drawn plans, it'd be very close to what we have here.
The chance to move into the 6,000 square foot building at the former RAP Center east of Smithers is mainly due to community fundraising efforts like the Celebrity Golf Tournament as well as private donations.
We looked all over. We spent well over a year looking at different locations. We considered moving. We considered building. We considered modular facilities, looking at those. We looked at renovating existing buildings, and nothing suited us within what was financially realistic.
As always, raising money for the CDC is a top priority for many in the area, and that assistance is helping make the future a lot brighter at the Child Development Center.
We are currently renting with the hope of finding enough dollars to be able to purchase the building in June.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. We might live in a digital age, but there can be little doubt that paper is still one of the most important materials in the world. For most of us, it'll be something we will touch, see, or use multiple times a day, probably without giving it a second thought. Let us return to the archives as Kitimat students make paper.
A mix of recycling know-how and fun is a blend Tasha Kennedy is learning. During an LCAP-sponsored project, students in her class mix up used paper ingredients. Then they dry it and roll it for amazing product results.
First of all, it's a really good learning technique in that they learn a series of stages in production. It's good for them to see that the labor that they put into their work comes out with a very positive product, and it gives them a lot of internal satisfaction.
So we're going to start off with our mixture of shredded paper, which has been recycled, and water, and a little bit of bleach. And we put it into a blender and blend it up so we get a pulp with an even consistency. We're going to, oftentimes we add a little bit of construction paper to give it a different color.
After it's mixed, most of the water needs to be taken out of the pulp.
This has been made especially for our paper making process, and it's just a vacuum cleaner with a hose that's hooked up to this sort of sink, I guess. And the screen here has two parts to it. It has the screen, and then it has this upper part, and we'll basically just sit it on like that, fits right onto it, and you pour the pulp evenly over the screen and vacuum up water. Done. The front part.
With a little direction, students are eager to do most of the work, from pouring to rolling.
And we're going to use the rolling pin with the spout and roll out any excess water. Didn't work. Oh, you got it off here? So it bronze? That different. It's spicy, yeah.
It doesn't always work out the first time, but these students will tell you a little advice can go a long way.
I let you get the paper stick on that. Yeah. Carefully.
But when it does work, it's like magic before their eyes.
Okay, look at my hill. Not only do we do the production end of things, but also do the finance end of things. The kids keep records, how much things cost, and putting money back into the business, and sales records. We worked with small groups of kids to develop a brochure to advertise their product. We've sort of begun to talk about a business meeting and how to talk to people in a meeting. So they're really the whole roster of skills, of life skills, is what we're looking at. It's a very good connection between education and industry.
But the idea for the paper project was pressed out in Alma, Quebec, where Alcan first started a project like this one.
So I think they learned a lot of very important lifetime messages. And the purpose of this program was to develop better citizens for tomorrow. And that's what the objective is in Alma, and that's what we're trying to do here, so that the kids learn about social responsibility as well as recycling. And at the same time, they're having a lot of fun, so that's pretty important too.
Open hard up. When most of the work is done and the paper is dry, the best part of all begins, creating the designs.
It's fun to make paper.
Oh, here's Steven.
We can recycle paper using
And when the class is over, the end result is a new way of thinking about recycling and some creative cards to sell or share.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. In 2024, the Prince Rupert Rainmakers marked their 60th anniversary, celebrating the rich history that began with their triumph in 1964 BC's High School Basketball Championship. This victory stands as the only provincial title for Northern BC West team, highlighting the determination they cultivated through their participation in the challenging senior men's league in the town. Let us return to the archives with Mel Bishop.
One high school coach perhaps described it best when he said that Prince Rupert has basketball fever. And it's something that's been around for a long time. The Prince Rupert Rainmakers started in 1945, and the team's been under the guidance of one man, Mel Bishop, for the last 20 years. And last year, all his time and effort finally paid off. Not only did his team win the AA provincial title, but Sport BC gave him the Coach of the Year award.
It was a nice thought to get that coaching award. But I've been doing the same things now I've been teaching the same fundamentals for 20 years. It's just that, you have a little more talent. And we had a lot of talent last year. That has a lot to do with it. We had a lot of athletes and they had pretty good size. That was kind of nice. But I mean, my coaching philosophy and teaching style has been the same for 20 years. In fact, some years I've had less talent. I might have had just as many rewards or maybe more rewards working with less talent and just seeing what I can get out of the less talent. How the kids respond and how much they improve over the year. So it was a great year, but I've had it. I mean, I enjoy every year.
Bishop is typically understated about his own accomplishments and prefers to focus the attention on his players and on the basketball program. But it's not hard to find others who will sing his praises.
I try to tell Mel good things about him and his program on a daily basis. It's pretty hard not to, because you see the hours that the man puts in, and he wants it. He wants it for the kids, and he wants it for his program. And he's pretty modest about taking the credit for himself.
Outstanding. Been there a while. He's put in so much time. I think the people they forget about are his wife and family. They put in just as much time as Mel because they have to deal with the other things that go along as well. And I think they should be credited with a lot too.
He's a great guy. He's a good coach, but great dad. Great coach, yeah.
Reyes and Sharma were both on last year's provincial championship team.
At the moment when we won, it was kind of unreal. It was a good moment. But now we have to get into reality and really face what we have to do, work hard.
And the reality is, Rupert is a very different team this year. Only 3 of last year's players are back, and as a result, there's a lot more parity in the zone.
Yeah, Rupert isn't 20 points better than everybody. I don't know.
Pretty even.
Yeah, pretty even right along.
One of the teams that'll be hoping to unsee Prince Rupert at the zone finals are their crosstown rivals, Charles Hayes.
I think it's a really healthy rivalry. I don't think it was healthy at first, but I think it is now. And it's really interesting to see when we play. Like, I don't have to get my kids pumped for that game. I mean, if anything, I have to bring them down for that. It's really intense, and the kids get really psyched to play. But after the game, they're still the best of friends. These kids growing up together, and they all know each other, but they love to compete against each other. So I think it's healthy.
Clyde says every Rupert team he's seen over the years, regardless of their age or abilities, has been competitive and well coached and well aware of the tradition they're carrying on.
Those students over there at PRSS to put on that uniform, it means something because of all the history and the tradition that they have, which is something that we're trying to start here. But we're still a young school, but we're getting there.
Reyes and Sharma, now both in grade 12, have been playing ball at PRSS since they were in grade 8.
Well, it's something to be proud of. They get to represent the town, carry on tradition, kind of.
To find the origin of Rupert's basketball fever, though, you need to look further than just high school ball.
Got a really good minor basketball system, and they develop a lot of those fundamental skills. And you see that. I think fundamentally, the kids growing up in Rupert are probably some of the best in the province because we have a good minor basketball system.
One of the things that really makes the basketball program work in Prince Rupert is the program building. And both Charles Hayes and Prince Rupert Secondary start working with the kids at a young age.
The Senior Boys Zone Finals go mid-next month.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
According to legend, Ethiopian goat herder named Kali was the first person discovered coffee beans and their benefits. Kali noticed this after his goats ate cherries of the particular tree in the ancient coffee forest of Ethiopian Plateau. They were so full of energy they didn't want to sleep at night. In this final segment of Open Connection, let us return to the archives with Brian Murdoch.
It's been called a cup of joe, black brew, java, and the devil's drink, but we know it best as coffee. We love the drink for its pick-me-up in the morning, but when coffee beans were first found, they were considered magical.
A goat herder saw his goats eating the beans, and they seemed to become more agile and stuff like that. So he decided to try them, and then soon word got out. And actually, it was the church that the monks that found out about the beans afterwards, and they came down and actually roasted the first beans on fires and then transported them back to their monasteries. And they'd been eating the beans for about 10 years and meditating and stuff like that before it actually got out to the public that there was this wonderful drink.
Latte.
When coffee first came out, actually, to the people, it was known as the devil's drink because I guess of the things that it kept you awake and stuff like that and helped your meditation. Yeah, it was black, yeah. And then actually it was the Church of Rome, the Pope that came out and said, no, it's God's blessed drink, because I guess he'd been a coffee drinker for years. So, and then the public all thought, oh, that's great. So it's a good drink, and coffee came into its own.
When U.S. Chief of Naval Operations Josephus Daniels outlawed alcohol on board ships, coffee became the beverage of choice among sailors, coining the phrase cup of joe. Today, people take coffee breaks, even when they're just taking a 15-minute rest. And going for coffee means spending time with friends. Seems there's almost no limit to the catchphrases, but there is a limit to how much you should drink.
Health Canada recommends that we keep our caffeine intake from 400 to 450 milligrams a day, and that translates out to about 3 to 4 cups of tea or coffee in a day. So that's sort of the safe level, or what we call moderate coffee intake or caffeine intake.
You can't really get addicted to coffee, but there can be side effects if you cut back.
I think that if you, over the long term, have been taking in coffee or tea, you do sort of get, I don't want to say addiction, because there's certainly a clinical definition to addiction, but you do get some benefit or some feeling of benefit from it. You feel more up. It sort of makes you feel like you're more mentally alert. And if you take that coffee away, sort of cold turkey, you can get headaches, you can get irritable, you can just not be a nice person. And often what happens is that you'll take that 1 cup of coffee and all those symptoms go away.
Cutting back on caffeine should be done gradually, and make sure you're not forgetting to drink other important beverages like water, juice, and milk.
I think sort of the surge in specialty coffees is a really good thing. It allows many people to get more of their milk intake in a day. So lattes, mochas if they're made with milk as well, cafe au laits, all of those things are actually a great way to get milk in, as long as you sort of keep your caffeine intake in check as well.
Here's the scoop on tea. On average, it has about half the amount of caffeine as drip or brewed coffee. How about espresso? It has about the same amount of caffeine as in brewed coffee, or less.
Depends on how you actually make it. So if you look at coffee, filter dripped certainly has more caffeine in it than, say, instant would. And if you look at tea, if you brew it for like 5 minutes, of course, it has more than a week brewed tea. But on average, if you're looking at coffee versus tea, filter drip will have about 100 milligrams of caffeine, just like things like cappuccino and espresso will.
If you look at something like an instant, it's down around 75 milligrams, and then tea is usually somewhere around 60 to 80 milligrams.
Calories may be another concern. As far as rich desserts go, specialty coffees come in fairly low. And if you're choosing by taste, some of the secrets to a good blend are freshly roasted and ground beans. And with more choices than ever, it's unlikely the coffee craze will end anytime soon.
Over the last 5-6 years, coffee in North America has become bigger. And people just enjoy to go out and have a cup of coffee. My wife and I have 4 boys. And, just for us to be able to touch base with 4 boys and work and stuff like that, we've enjoyed coffee places for the last 10 years. Just going and sit down, we get to have a cup of coffee and touch base with each other, find out what's going on in each other's lives.
And in a fast-paced world, rapid technological change, it's nice to know some of the best things in life still take a little time.
Premier Miller delivered some good news this morning at one of the many sites of Northwest Community College in Prince Rupert. Unfortunately, the event was touched with sorrow over the loss of 2 local men, one of them an instructor at the college.
I want to first of all start by acknowledging that while I've got some good news for the community, all of us are aware that there's been really 2 tragedies. And I think, like everybody in town, I'm just overwhelmed by the sense of loss and the pain that the families are feeling. And I want to acknowledge Trent McNeese and John Wood, people who've been part of this community, have given of themselves to the community.
Miller's reason for being in Rupert, of course, was to announce the approval of $8 million in funding for a new campus building for NWCC in the city, an announcement which was well received by local officials.
And any time that we can bring more resources, more skills, more education from the Lower Mainland into our communities is a good day for our future.
Campus Director Beth Davies is equally pleased by the news. Davies says one of the problems the Rupert campus has is that a good portion of its classes and programs are spread around the city in a number of different rental spaces.
We're very much looking forward to having our own home, and we're the only college campus in the Northwest that doesn't actually have a campus, that is in rental space all over the place, and one of the fastest growing and most vibrant campuses. So this is going to make a big difference to us and to the community.
So far, $286,000 of the $8 million has gone towards acquiring the land for the new campus from the city on Fraser Street, next door to the Senior Center. The next step will be the design phase, and construction is expected to start in the spring. Miller says he's asked the Finance Ministry to look at ways of making sure a good portion of the work goes to locals.
You know what we did on the elementary school. It's a bit more challenging on a bigger project because the risks are higher, but if we can put the project out in ways in which we can...
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Rupert Pictou.